What does market intelligence mean to your clients, in terms of what SMI is doing, but perhaps more broadly?
Yeah, so more broadly speaking, I'd say overall market intelligence is the most valuable when you're looking at actuals, when you're looking at first party data, things like set top box data, retailers really relying more on loyalty data, membership, subscriber data, that kind of stuff, and not always relying on samples, I think is starting to get a lot more traction, at least in the Canadian market. And I'm not saying that there's no role for third party data, but it's really the actuals. When you talk about data that is actionable, it's the first party and actual data that is actionable for advertisers. And COVID is a prime example of that. Sales teams might have been telling their leadership team that, oh yeah, some sources are saying that advertising was down X percent, and not having that reliance that it is accurate or actuals is going to be a challenge, because while we might be down, I don't know, 25%, but the market is down 19%, that presents a challenge. But if we were down 10% and the market is down 19%, then that might be a good opportunity for X company. So that was a prime example of COVID. Another area is, revenues could be down across our company, but where are the opportunities in the market that were up, for example? Programmatic, digital, OTT, those were areas that were strong in the 2020 year, and they were highlights. And again, going back to market intelligence and market intelligence being actionable, it's the ones that can show you what's happening outside of your own walls. It's the ones that are giving you a direction into where the opportunities lie. And then the last thing I wanted to mention here is just around measurement and tracking. Canada has been, I would say, a little bit slower to evolve tracking to become more cross-platform and omnichannel. And I think there's a massive opportunity, and there's a lot of foundation in place for us to get to that point, because that's what the advertisers care about. They want to know how their media is performing, how effective it is, regardless of where that advertising is being seen. And if we will start to see that evolution into cross-platform measurement and being able to understand how all the mediums work together, I think the marketers, and we will start to see the industry move forward really quickly when we get to that point.
Darrick, tell us how SMI and the data set fits into all of that around performance and benchmarks, and how it's going in terms of the interest in the product in Canada.
Yeah, for sure. So SMI, we're lucky in Canada because we have an extremely high coverage of understanding where the advertising dollars are going across all media types and media owners. And because we have a high coverage, when it comes to actionability, you are able to look at the data with a confidence that allows you to, and our clients to see, all right, exactly where are the dollars going, and how is it changing from month to month. So SMI, we're in a unique place in the market where we're able to give both the buy side and the sell side an understanding of where has the industry moved, how is ad spend a predictor of the success in the market, and the underlying reasons why our advertising is effective or not effective. And so SMI, we're helping the clients to really understand where the dollars are going, how to benchmark performance across advertising categories, and then for the media side, really understanding where the competitors are performing and how to capture the best share of voice for their business.
Darrick, so when you look at the US versus the Canadian market, what are some interesting things that you see? What are your observations?
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that we've been tracking really recently is the amount of ad spend that's going towards digital. In Canada, we've always been a little bit higher than other markets, but 2020 was a lot more pronounced, and I think it amplified the spend on digital. And some of those reasons are pretty obvious. It being a more measurable medium, allowing you to do things a little bit easier programmatically without the need for people within offices to write the papers and work together. But that digital pendulum was unique to Canada and presents a challenge to the major TV networks. You know, Google and Facebook, and to name two of many digital pure plays, have been capturing a lot of those dollars in the Canadian market, which has forced the Canadian media owners to fight over the crumbs a little bit and take a small piece of the pie and fight over the TV medium. And every medium specifically has its strengths and weaknesses. And what we saw in the Canadian market is, despite COVID, you had players like Rogers acquiring Rouge Media Group, an out-of-home operator. And they recognize that out-of-home is an opportunity to diversify and give their advertisers a little bit of a different way to execute a campaign that reaches different audiences. And again, going back to that digital pendulum, I think coming out of the great Q4 that we saw in Canada and some of the positive momentum that we're seeing in 2021, I think we're going to start to see that pendulum swing back a little bit for Canada, and you'll start to see some of those ad dollars go back to offline traditional media like it was previously in Canada.